All right, guys, we live here on the X 88.9 FM, WMCX, West Long Branch, New Jersey, for the Downbeat Beatdown Hour. We're talking about pro wrestling from the independents all the way up to the world of WWE. And we have a lot of thoughts on WWE today. And, of course, we like to feature the local music scene here in the Asbury Park, greater tri-state area. With me, as always, is the very handsome, coming off Valentine's Day, the Any Smark, Mr. Matt Wittes, who prepared a lovely meal, I heard. How are you, man?
Hey, feeling dynamite, out of sight. Can't be uptight when everything's all right.
I love it. Nice little McConaughey in there. Very
That's
nice.
right. Woody Harrelson's favorite secret brother.
Now, nice. Now, the reason I always love hanging out with Matt, besides his great verbiage and handsomeness, is he prepares delicious meats and barbecue. Can you tell us about the menu? Because you showed me some pictures.
Oh, yeah. It was very simple, but it was my first attempt going with braised short rib. Just then there was a little thyme and rosemary and the root vegetables. Sear everything up, deglaze with a red wine. I used a Cabernet.
Ooh,
and then you just, keep it in the pot and stick in the oven for like 2.5 hours, and everything comes out tender and sweet and delicious.
When you make it, it does. When I make it, it's a little chewy, and but I'm learning. I tried to make chili the other day, and I was texting you nonstop. But Matt, I hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. The secret ingredient is, of course, love. So as we transition,
and MSG.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. That's right. Hey, man, call it like it is, like we do here on the Downbeat Beatdown Hour. So much to talk about. I was on Tommy Fierro's radio show yesterday, Let's Talk Wrestling, and we talked for an hour about the meh build to WrestleMania. We'll get into that in a little bit, Matt. I know you had some thoughts, but I did want to start today. We also do have an interview to share with TNA, The System's Brian Myers, who we got to speak with at 80s Con. Like I always say, I want to feature the stars of the independents, TNA, AEW, WWE here on the X, and I feel like we've done a good job with that, so want to keep them coming. We'll share that interview in a little bit. He talks about the system, TNA moving to AMC, all that great stuff. But it is Elimination Chamber season. Matt, I always use your term, the road to WrestleMania. And we are on the road. We're on the road,
yeah.
No detours yet, but the road's been a little... So let's talk about Elimination Chamber first. Now,
shall we? Yes.
I always say this, like I'm very cut and dry, Matt, as you know. What are the stakes, right? The chambers used to be for the titles. They used to be for, whether it was the U.S. title, whether it was the World Championship, for the Women's World Championship, whatever it is. We kind of go into these chamber matches going like, well, what are the stakes here? Like, what are the stakes? And a lot of times it's become the number one contendership. It's kind of like the Plan B Royal Rumble, right?
Yes.
You didn't win the Royal Rumble.
So much,
yeah,
yes.
That's the way I see it now. And it's kind of like unspoken, because I'm sitting here like, is one of the titles going to be on the line? If someone picked a champion at WrestleMania, is the other championship on the line in the chamber like they've done in the past? So the stakes are the winner of the men's Elimination Chamber Championship or chamber match will be in Chicago. That winner will go on to face Drew McIntyre for his undisputed WWE Championship. The winner of the women's chamber match, we don't know yet because Liv has not selected a champion to compete against in Royal Rumble, so they're building that up, Matt. Just your thoughts so far on the build to Elimination Chamber, because the competitors in the men's are Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, someone you're very familiar with, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Had to be done. And then on the other side of things, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and Tiffany Stratton, 3 spots in each chamber. How you feeling, Matt?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that with Elimination Chamber. I feel like that one year they decided, okay, this is for a title shot, and then it just evolved into, don't write anything for the champion, after November, because we're gonna have Elimination Chamber. How are you gonna build up a build with somebody, and then send them into Elimination Chamber when you know that's going to be the guy? So they have this going on, and looking at it now, it's what I'm a huge fan of LA Knight from way back as Eli Drake, even as Sean Ricker. Wow. And to be out of the 3 guys that are named, he's probably I would be the least excited for a matchup between him and Drew McIntyre versus the other two, only because I've seen the other two versus Drew McIntyre, and
Yes.
I know they can deliver. As we all know, there's things about chemistry and styles make fights, on the MMA side of things. And, okay, I don't know how LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, how they match up. The women's side, I think that sometimes people are just looking to say it. Elimination Chamber so far looks like okay, the women's side is going to vastly outperform the men's side.
I could see
Just
it.
because in the past we've seen the Twisted Bliss off the top of the pod. We've seen the prettiest moonsault ever off the top of the pod. If we see a Riptide off the top of the pod, that's going to be played, more than Mick Foley going through the stage.
Oh man.
If they manage to pull that off without killing anybody. And then you have the Becky Lynch and AJ Lee.
Yeah.
We both kind of, yeah.
No disrespect. Then they're both phenomenal.
They're both
Great
fantastic,
to see AJ back. I mean, how long have we been a pro Becky Lynch show?
From the very beginning.
From the beginning, man. And I love what she's doing now. I was very critical of the heel turn earlier, but I love what she's doing now. She's great on Starfleet Academy, by the way. I don't know if you checked into that yet.
I have not yet.
It's very fun. It's like I don't know how to say it. It's like a Star Trek meets like not Boy Meets World. Dawson's Creek, rest in peace, James Vanderbeek, by the way. Very sad to see that, but it's very fun. But Becky, I digress, but Becky has a phenomenal role as one of the engineers, I think, on the bridge, and she's very, very good. Everybody says it, man. Everyone says it.
Yeah, we have that. It seems like that's something they've kind of strung along.
It's Chicago. It's
Chicago, so they have AJ there. And you're going to have CM Punk there versus Finn Balor, which will be probably an incredible match.
Does it feel like a throwaway?
It does and it doesn't. I think that it's hey, everybody came here to see hometown guys, CM Punk. CM Punk is probably going to pull together whatever he has to put on as good a match as he's capable of doing anymore in front of Chicago. And, Finn Balor's a guy who can certainly get him there. I will say this with a 0.05% chance
Sound like me.
of, let's say Finn Balor goes over. Can you, you wouldn't imagine, especially after that amazing that we saw live back and forth between Roman and CM Punk.
Yes. Incredible.
Does Finn Balor have the same kind of stakes going up against Roman Reigns as CM Punk does?
I don't, and someone asked me this yesterday, Matt. I don't even want to, you know how you manifest things and you talk about that. I don't even want to entertain it. And no disrespect to Finn, but he has just come back into, I don't want to say relevancy. That's too mean. Judgment Day has been red hot and very, very popular, but him as a singles competitor has really become noticeable again ever since, where was it, Belfast or wherever they had the title match. Will he come back as the Demon? That's the big question. He had said the Demon was something he did to fire himself up, and then when other people started asking him to do it, it kind of became a parody of himself. Will we see that at WrestleMania? Will it be Dom versus Finn at WrestleMania? There's lots of ways we can go, but I don't see a world where Finn wins here, with all due respect.
No, I don't either. That's why I put that caveat. Just a little mental exercise. Just
yes.
Who did Finn Balor defeat in order to have the match with Seth Rollins, where he won his so far only world title, the original Universal title?
I'm going to say, was it Punk or Drew or...
it was Roman Reigns.
Wow, a rare dub over Roman.
He beat Roman Reigns to go on to that one-day title reign.
That's a great point. And I love the match.
I forget who Seth beat to get to the other half of that match, but it was Finn Balor beat Roman Reigns. It might have been a four-way match, but he beat Roman. And I always said there was always something that was just dangling there. Roman's got the belt. Was it, Finn had it. Finn's back. He's healthy. This is 10 years ago almost.
Yeah.
But how come he's not calling a shot? Hey, I've already beat you. I beat you to get that belt you're holding. Never came up, never manifested.
Yeah. Finn's run has been so hot and cold and up and down. I think going back to that promo, like you mentioned earlier, Matt, in Philly, we were there. And the show was fine. You know, it was good. It was up and down, whatever. But that promo at the end was one of the best promos I've seen, not just live, but in a long time, man, because they were it was getting a little real in there. It felt that way anyway, the Zebros line and all that stuff that we cannot say here on the radio, but like it was so intense. It felt real, and just I hate it. I said this last time, Matt, like Roman just comes in, wins the Rumble, and I miss you, Roman. Like, I miss you. I want to see you. And I said it here at the station. I'm like, if you win the Rumble, you have to be here on Monday. You know, either Monday or Friday. I want to see you every week. Well, WWE has announced that he's going to have 5 Raws in between now and WrestleMania. So I believe there's 5 dates. Correct me if I'm wrong. He will not be at the Elimination Chamber. And this is a good problem. I want to see more Roman. He's so good on the mic. He's so entertaining. He's great in the ring. He's on that God level, as he says. And I just don't want Punk to have to carry this and do all the heavy lifting. I hope Roman's healthy right now with everything going on, but he's just so good, Matt. I want him to see more. And that promo was a chef's kiss. He goes, I hate you because I hate you.
And you know what? I always say, you know, Bryan Danielson said one time when he's talking about the fans, fickle.
True.
And the I don't want to say hypocrisy, but the irony of people hating, oh, Roman can't wrestle. You know, he was never in ROH, so he can't be a good wrestler. He was giving us the best in-ring work of his career when people were booing him out of the building. Oh, he's just a WWE guy and he can't even talk. Now he's talking everybody into the building.
Right.
And he's still phenomenal in there, but he's not going on all cylinders anymore. And the people who were booing him before are loving him now. It's kind of amazing.
And he's at the top of his game, his final form, like I like to say, and it's a great point because he was kind of being forced into our attention, like for lack of a better term. The fans didn't like it. It was just being forced on us as fans. And now I don't know if it was him who came up with this idea. I think I'd heard this was kind of his pitch for a while.
Yeah, apparently he leveraged himself into this current role of where, if I'm going to come back, he kind of, you use what you got. He has, overlying health concerns.
Yes.
Says, hey, if I'm going to come back when, this is around the end of COVID era, if I'm going to come back, I want to be able to do this thing that everybody in the world, including him, wanted to happen 5 years earlier and was able to do it. And immediately everybody just breathed a sigh of relief, and embraced this prodigal son.
And everyone around him was better for it. And obviously being under the tutelage of him. Sammy, just the honorary Oos stuff was so good.
When you're feeling Oosy, you're feeling Oos. When you're not feeling Oosy,
it, bro. Ain't that the truth, man? But Elimination Chamber should be fascinating. The card is building. I just want to feel that excitement going into WrestleMania. I'm not quite there yet. The closest thing has been that promo between Roman and Punk. And again, I wrote this, 3-4 weeks ago, Matt. I said it feels like there's a tide turning, there's a page turning here in the world of professional wrestling, and like the whole thing, and we're starting to see it. The women's tag team division's blowing up. We're seeing a lot of call-ups from NXT, Oba, Trick, Javon, like they are top guys. I want to talk about NXT in a little bit. Some of these guys are getting older. AJ's, retired supposedly. John Cena retired. Our main event is Roman Reigns and CM Punk supposedly. What's our other main event going to be? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think it's just time, even from NXT and the main roster, who's going to step up? Who is the next? Like we said, Matt, the reason Cena went out and Gunther is this huge heel is because Gunther's going to keep becoming this big bad. I don't want to say final boss because that's taken, but he's going to be this big bad. Who's going to be the next hero? And I just want to see, Matt, who steps up in these coming weeks, man. So we'll see what happens. Any other thoughts on Chamber?
Nothing on Chamber right now. No.
All right.
Just waiting to see how it develops throughout the weeks.
It should be interesting, guys. Now, I said I want to feature the interviews with the stars. Matt, we're so blessed that we get to watch these shows. It's our soap operas, right? We get to watch these shows, watch these athletes. And every once in a while, we get to talk to a few of them. Matt always comes up with the great question. If you hear a really good question, Matt probably came up with it. He's got the deep cut questions. I have so many interviews I want to share with you guys here on the X. So this is a short one. We were down at 80s Con last Saturday up in Parsippany. And we got to talk with Brian Myers, who's not an 80s wrestler. He's a current TNA superstar. He said, I was born in the 80s, Brian Myers. So he tied it in there real nicely. But a few minutes talking to Brian Myers about his group, The System, and the recent success of TNA wrestling. So here we are on the X, Brian Myers. Here at 80s Con, we are not worthy with a member of The System, former TNA Tag Champion, former Digital Media Champion, former WWE Tag Champion, future First Ballot Hall of Famer, the one and only Mr. Brian Myers. How are you?
Also, I've renamed this place Born in the 80s Con.
I'm here for it. I like it. I like
I
it.
had to make an exception for myself.
Dude, the figures are flying off the shelf. We just talked to Kanik. What's it mean to you right now, all the success you guys are having with the figures right now?
It's awesome, and it, obviously it's a business, and we got to make a lot of big boy decisions and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. It all comes from such a genuine place of a love of wrestling. And I mean, Matt and I grew up playing with these things, never grew out of it. To be able to parlay that into a business and do all these things, and then the other side of it that we didn't even think about was all these guys. A lot of them in this building are getting paid by us through this, so they're very appreciative of it. It's cool to honor their legacy in that kind of way.
And we were saying with Kanik, a lot of guys getting their first figures, guys like Joe Henry, which is really cool. You guys have the a la wrestling buddy type things. I saw you had yours get signed today. Yeah. I love that, but we got to talk shop, Mr. Myers, talking about the system. A couple changes as of late. Bear Bronson, one of my favorites. Honestly, one of the nicest guys on the independents, but we've seen a meaner side of Bear Bronson.
Don't tell anybody that.
Oh, sorry. But honestly, I mean, we've seen him in the death matches. We see him in the system now. What's it like for you making these changes in the system? Why, Brian, why?
I mean, I keep telling everybody, we're younger, faster, stronger, smarter without Moose. I mean, it was an easy decision. Plus, Bear's a guy that I trained over a decade ago, yes, so right. I know him very well. And like you said, he's making a hell of a name for himself. Literally right now in this moment, so why not?
I love it. Two more questions, if I may, Mr. Myers. Thank you for your time. You talk about being a trainer. Guys like Vargas, who we love here at ISPW in the Northeast. Guys like Leo Sparrow. How proud are you of these up-and-comers right now, the next generation?
It's awesome. It's amazing. It never doesn't cease to amaze me when you see someone come in, just a wide-eyed kid, and you never know what they're going to become. And honestly, 19 out of 20 times they just quit and they don't realize what they got themselves into. But the ones that stick it out, they become great. They get involved in the business. It's always something I'm going to be very proud of.
And last one, I always end with this one. We have a lot of indie wrestlers that watch the show here in the Northeast particularly. Sometimes you're a heel here. Sometimes you're a face somewhere else. Sometimes you have to make a name for yourself. You're not fighting better caliber of opponent. You're fighting the same people over and over again. What advice would you have for some of these up-and-comers right now?
I mean, wrestling's all about reps and experience, and no one's just going to be great right off the bat. You got to live and learn and make your mistakes. You got to get in the car. You got to travel. You got to do every little thing you can to. I always tell the guys, the more tools you got in your tool belt in wrestling, the better talent you're going to be, or the more you're going to be better for a promoter or any company that you want to work for. So that's the key to it in my mind, sticking it out.
I appreciate a few minutes. Be nice to Casey Navarro. Appreciate your time. Continued success. Thanks, man. That was Brian Myers' interview here at BCP Plus Boys here on the X. WMCX 88.9 FM, West Long Branch, New Jersey. You guys are listening to the Downbeat Beatdown Hour, talking some pro wrestling, some tunage here, and always great to talk to the stars. I think, and so nice of Brian Myers to give me a few minutes and talk to me about TNA. I always like to wave the independent wrestling flag. I think my fatal flaw is, and I have many, Matt, as you know, my fatal flaw is I always kind of make the heels baby faces. I always ask such like I was talking to Solo. He's like, you're making me a baby. I always ask for the advice for the indie guys. He's like, you're making me a baby face out here. I'm going, yeah, Bear Bronson, one of the nicest guys on the indie face. Like, don't say that. So... but shout out to Bear and all his success. He was doing the crazy, match stuff, and now he's signed by TNA. So congrats to Bear. Great talking to Brian Myers. But Matt, lots to talk about. I want to touch on, we had mentioned early, Joe Henry, the men's division in NXT, where there's been a lot of change. Oba, Trick, Javon, all to SmackDown or Raw, whatever it is, and they're putting on great performances. Those guys, I feel, are the future. They even had that moment in the Royal Rumble where the three of them were standing. It's just so great. Oba's entrance alone, Trick's entrance, and then the in-ring work. Ugh.
the amazing, just the evolution and completion of Trick Williams' potential. I don't want to say completion, but what's happened in the last few months with Trick Williams. We always said, he had the look and he had the charisma, and then he got the talk down and everything.
The lemon pepper steppers.
Yeah, he was always having these 4-minute matches. I mean, the big culmination of the implosion with him and Carmelo Hayes before Carmelo Hayes went up to, I believe it was the Raw roster, was, okay, this is the big blow-off, and it was like a 4.5-minute match, and the questions were, does Trick have, what it takes in here? And all of a sudden, it seems like out of the blue, he's probably been working hard on it all through. He has shown flashes of A or S level game in the ring lately.
He's brilliant.
So
and I see them trying things with him, especially on last week's SmackDown. I was late to the game. We were over at ISPW, and so I watched most of SmackDown Saturday morning. I caught up on it, and I watched Trick because he gets he's a heel here. But and he's great as face or heel, but he's getting that baby face reaction. A lot of it has to do with the entrance and and what they say during his entrance, and they're chanting along. But it's almost like he's not towing that line, because he starts out he came out this week and he was kind of doing his own hype man thing. You know how Book usually does the hype man? Oh yeah, and the he's hyping between the entrance music, and Trick was kind of doing it this time. The I like it and all that stuff. And Trick was actually doing it. So I think they're trying stuff, but
they're trying to figure out what goes on the next T-shirt.
But the people popped for Lemon Pepper Stepper.
Did.
They were going nuts
They
for that. He's a good
did.
guy. I said it so many times, Matt, and I'm sorry to say the same thing over and over again, but I see Rock level potential. I see Rock level. He's just got that Hollywood to him. He's got he's got the crowd in the palm of his hand. He comes and makes his intro on SmackDown. Obvious juxtaposition to Sami Zayn, but has the big white fur coat. Looks like $1 million Sami in the the maroon sweatshirt.
Yeah, some homeless guy found a wrestler's gear and put it on and came out to the ring, and you forget that he's one of the best guys in this generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's apples and oranges.
And Sammy now not in the elimination
And the
chamber.
apple got dropped down the stairs.
Oh boy! But Sammy now not in the elimination chamber because Fatu and Sammy both lost that triple threat match. Cody advances, but Drew got involved. In my mind, Matt, that leaves an opening for perhaps either one of them, perhaps both of them, Fatu and Sammy, to maybe get in the main event at WrestleMania, because Drew keeps sticking his nose in everything.
Well, that's another neat thing that we've seen in the past, where everybody's gonna have a triple threat matches, and the winners go on to be in this other match. Okay, there's one more spot. Everybody who didn't get eliminated, you're now in a triple threat or a 4-way or over the top rope match where they can kind of schmoz it in and get somebody else.
Yeah. I'm going to put you on the spot real quick, Matt. I always try to hype you up before the show, but we talked about it briefly. Joe Henry, I think it's the right guy to put the NXT championship on now. I think it's a safe pick. I think it's the right pick right now. We believe. I got to talk to him a few times when he was TNA champion, and he took that role seriously. I know he's taking it just as seriously as the NXT champion. He has said he wanted to go to NXT instead of the main roster right away so he could hone his craft, become better in ring, and you can see him trying stuff. He's got that very comparable to John Cena kind of moves. I hate saying 5 moves of doom, but if there was anyone I would compare to John Cena just in terms of the in-ring, I would say Joe Henry, and I think he's trying to surpass that, and I see him working at the PC, jumping over the top rope, really trying some stuff, so that's great. And I think it's the right choice to put it on Joe Henry right now, but with Oba gone, Trick gone, Javon gone, because I did love NXT, I still do. The women's division's still incredible, but I think the men's division's hurting. Who needs to step up on the NXT men's side of things?
Looking at things, I've got a fairly updated roster in front of me right now.
A lot of new faces, too.
Well, look at Channing Lorenzo just lost the TNA
Stacks.
International title this past weekend. He still apparently is the NXT Heritage Cup champion.
I forgot that existed.
We have not seen that since I think he won it in June.
Are they even acknowledging it anymore?
I don't know. But he's in this group here with Charlie Dempsey and who is this?
Ariana.
Ariana, but
Lexus.
Lexus King, Uriah Connors apparently most recently of Chase University, Uriah Connors is the second son of Fit Finley. Brother to David Finley. They're putting together this birthright group, all these second generation wrestlers.
I'm glad you touched on that, because it seems like a slow burn to that, and they've kind of had interactions. Like, have they actually all been in the same room at the same time yet, or it's slow burn?
We have seen Connors, King, Ariana and Stax, who is by extension he's the son-in-law of a former WWE title holder.
Yeah,
so
I'm here for it.
He is, and I believe that the Charlie Dempsey is just being alluded to at this point. I haven't seen it where he's with them.
So Channing is not a second generation?
He is not.
Oh, but they're by association.
By association,
okay.
Yes, by marriage.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm second generation by marriage. Somebody else that we haven't seen really at all for a while. We haven't seen him come out with the culling for a while. Brooks Jensen. If this group needs a big heater, the son of Bull Buchanan.
Did not know that.
Did not know that. Just a big fella, just to stand in the back, maybe not win titles, maybe not even be in matches. Just somebody just throwing a boot every now and then. His former tag team partner, Josh Briggs, seems like he's being used to enhance, some of these newcomers, which again, I feel like is a little misused. Just kind of like, if you've got one kind of big country boy, that works some strong style over there in Noah for a little bit, keep him around. They brought in some new faces. These Vanity Project kids from Evolve.
They're doing a lot of segments.
I think they're just kind of filling gaps right now with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm just thinking who's like the top guy, and I've worked with Brad Baylor on the independents and stuff like that.
Who's the top guy in NXT right now overall?
Or who's the next guy? I guess I don't know.
Well, the top guy right now outside of Joe Hendry would have to be all ego Ethan Page.
Yeah,
he's kind of holding, and they even make mention of it on air. Him, interim director Robert Stone, Shawn Michaels, they've all kind of said like he's kind of holding things down right now. Ricky Saints is still out there, and always on the edge of everything. The guy who has won all the NXT accolades besides the NXT championship, the only guy to beat Obafemi twice, Tony D'Angelo, is still out there.
Wow. And again, it's a slow burn with him too, because he's just kind of having those exchange looks with Ava, who's now no longer there. He hasn't really had a match yet, right? He's just had like segments and looks.
I believe he's having a match next week.
Okay.
With I forget all their names. The members of Dark State.
Dark State.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotcha. And some of those guys have potential too. I just don't know which one.
Yes, yeah. And God help you if you can remember these. Shake up the magic 8-ball to find out their names that they give people in NXT sometimes.
So there's Cutler. There's
I think he's facing Cutler next week.
Okay, I got
Cutler James.
But
Osiris Griffin.
Oh, sorry, that's it.
Is one of them.
Dion
Lennox.
Okay, I
think
he's
Dion Lennox is the guy that they want to kind of try to push to be the singles guy.
It seems that way.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's very interesting with all that, but I think you and me are still kind of scratching our heads because, and this is what happens a lot with NXT. You have these couple years of like the roster finds its footing, they're all stars, and then the main roster sees it. All right, call them up, and that's how it should work. But just watching the NXT product now. The women's division's still very strong. I can make a case for Sol Ruca going up so soon. I got to see this thing with Zarya. I say it every week. This is the thing I want to see most in wrestling.
It looks like it's there now. I think they're at it. I think it's already started.
Make it big though. Do it in front of the right. I don't want it in the PC. I want a big moment.
You see it, but they haven't said it. It hasn't been a big moment. It's just, but at the end of last week, you knew.
I got it. And then they can have their feud, and then Sol Ruca goes to the main. Maybe both of them go to the main roster. I'm surprised they didn't put Sol Ruca in the Elimination Chamber. They've been so high on her.
It ain't done yet.
It ain't done yet, brother. It ain't done yet.
I can see Zarya, interfering, keeping that belt on JC Jane, and Sol Ruka's like, you know what? Forget it. I'll try my hand in, with a triple threat match or a 4-way over on SmackDown.
Or it's just one of those things where she tries the match and Zarya has to watch her get more success and more, become the Elimination Chamber, and Zarya's, the sidekick again, or, watching, So I think it's a great story. I always say how much is too much. Man, this has been such a slow burn. But, Matt, I know you wanted to touch on the awards or lack thereof awards that were going out.
Oh, no, just the... For those who are, really deep into things, the Wrestling Observer newsletter awards came out. For the Pro Wrestling Observer, those awards came out. Obviously, they're a very specific cup of tea,
Yes.
voted on by. I gotta give him his props. Dave Meltzer, a guy who has been a part of the pro wrestling industry for decades now, and his fan base, the people who are kind of into his personal tastes. So
I think that's a good way of saying it. Yes, his personal taste.
As we always say on here, which we've paraphrased from Brian Zane, the influencer out there in the Great Pacific Northwest, doing his thing. Like what you like. Don't be a jerk.
That's a good one.
Of course, like all the message boards, the first thing they do is post that list, and then everybody kind of jumps on it.
It's almost by design, though.
Sometimes it is, yes.
So what is the list you're alluding to, Matt?
Oh, the I don't even have it in front of me.
But it was like the worst.
It's pretty much WWE bad, and you're bad for liking it. I believe NXT was voted as the worst show, and I think it's not even the worst show that WWE makes. I think it might be the best, the one that I catch most often.
You want to hear something funny, Matt?
Yeah. Apparently, John Moxley is the best promo guy in the entire industry.
All right.
Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page is blowing away CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
That was Punk and Roman. We were there, but
yeah.
So like I always say, Matt, what does this accomplish, right? Just the bashing. And again, you know me, we're very uplifting, and we let you know. I think the big thing we do here is we really try to wave the flag of the independence and the next level.
Before you spend, like we've said it before, before you waste 1 minute of your life arguing with strangers on the internet about how they're enjoying something the wrong way.
That's a great point. Flavors of ice cream.
Yeah. Like what you like. Don't be a jerk. Let people like or not like what they do. About 90% of the people listening to this right now would love a big Philly cheesesteak with peppers and onions. And guess what? I can't eat it. I can't eat it without creating a biohazard. So
understood. And thank you for not doing that before coming into the studio.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
You can have it. I won't. And guess what? I would never go on and spend a lot of my time arguing about your favorite cheesesteak.
Exactly. And I think that's a great way to put it. Yes. At the end of the day, it's one of those things, like I always say, what does it accomplish? Funnily enough, I had talked to Bill, this was months ago. I was really enjoying NXT. The women's division was so strong. This was before like the Obas and the Javons and Tricks had moved on. And I said, hey, like I think NXT might be the best show right now. Yeah. And for a while, I felt that it was. So it's interesting to me that, and right now, like the past, I wouldn't even say month yet, like the past few weeks, it's kind of tailed off because of changes. The general manager is gone. A lot of the top talent on the men's side has gone up. Some of the top talent on the women's side has gone up. So I understand it's that flux position, it's that transition period. You mentioned Robert Stone, the interim GM. You know, he tried to make my girlfriend pick up his coffee cup. I'm not thrilled about that, Matt.
You will send him a strongly worded email.
As I often do. Yes, as I often do, and I'm sure I'll get a nice form letter. But Matt, we joke around here, man. Anything else on NXT? I did want to talk about Division a little bit.
No, I think we're ready to go right into that because that the star, the hole in the sky, the missing star of the Vision, most recently of NXT. That would be Braun Breaker. So let me know your feelings on where they're looking with or without him.
So my thoughts right here, straight up on the Vision. I said this yesterday on Tommy Fierro's show. I always say in life, right, and in pro wrestling too, no one to take the dub, no one to take an L, right? I feel like a lot of people don't do that, right? You can take an L, you can take a dub, know how, know the difference. With the Vision right now, we start off, in my mind, with that prototype of the Evolution scenario. This is just the way I had seen it, and perhaps the way they saw it too. And I don't want to speak out of turn. Paul Heyman, the Ric Flair, Seth Rollins, the Triple H, Bronson Reed, I would say the Batista, Braun Breaker, I would say the Orton of the group. Obviously, I'm comparing it to Evolution. That was my mindset going in. Obviously, there are injuries. There's a lot. The masked man thing, I think, is getting a little redundant, and it's a little bit it's a bit uninspired to me. Given the injuries to Seth, right? He had a fake one, he had a real one. Get well soon. So Seth's out of the picture. So now we add Austin Theory, that everyone kind of knew was the masked man. We talked about it here. Now we're adding Logan Paul. It's a good fit, but now the prototype or the paradigm, whatever you want to say, the formula for it, to me, it's 4 Ortons. It's 4 Ortons. You can do the Batista thing with Bronson, but 4 great up-and-comers. To me, I still have not seen the chemistry there. Don't forget, they also had Becky in the group at one point. She had that phenomenal segment with Heyman. But my point here, Matt, is now Braun Breaker, and we were there in Philly, he kind of stumbled out of the ring. He threw the table. He was hot-headed. Didn't even really get in the Rumble. I mean, technically he did, but this whole thing is now Braun, I think, had hernia surgery. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe it was hernia surgery. Yep.
Yeah, I may or may not be privy to some things. So now he's injured too. It's one of those things, man. I think just take the L. And I know they're just going to work Seth back in and make a storyline, but I've not seen the chemistry in this group. I saw it when it was the 5 of them and Becky was there, but they didn't even have a name for a long time. I think it's time. They're all great single stars. Let them be single stars, do the thing. I think it's time to take the L on the Vision.
I think I can see where you're at with that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, Braun Breaker is, again, every hernia is not the same.
Interesting.
Speaking that from...
what's the timeline on that look like? I don't know.
It varies greatly depending on where it is, who it is. One, he is a genetic freak who will most likely be back 141 and 2/3% faster than a regular person would.
True.
But
nice.
Could he conceivably be back by WrestleMania if he wanted for any reason? Maybe he could. However, I will say this, just like he is a genetic freak with that kind of physicality, that is also his style inside the ring. So do you want to be this guy, again, has a top foot speed of 23 miles per hour.
It's insane how fast he is.
And explosively right out the blocks, he's that fast. Do you really want him doing his thing with that kind of fresh, oh yeah, you can come back now and kind of work your way into, he ain't working his way into anything. That is a guy who is all go all the time. So
Seth Breaker WrestleMania, is this what you're getting at?
It could be.
Okay.
But at the same time, again, because we know, nothing's real but the money and the miles, I wouldn't be surprised if that injury or another one that they're not mentioning happened before the Rumble.
Just the way it was handled.
A lot of people were picking Braun Breaker to either be a big deal in the Rumble and probably win it. And here he is being a complete non-factor. Why would you have him be a non-factor to kind of keep going with, the Black Scorpion 2026 angle? Maybe he was hurt before that.
Interesting.
And yeah, all these people, like I said, the one upside and downside of maybe breaking up the Vision right now, somebody's going to get, at least one, probably two people are going to get lost in the shuffle here.
Yes, exactly.
Logan Paul can go out and just be an attraction. He's there to just, anytime people start liking the Vision too much because they are all amazing, Logan Paul can just stand out there, stick his nose up in the air, say something stupid, and remind everybody, okay, these are the heels. Calm it down. Austin Theory, who was off our TVs for a while, if you watched him in NXT,
Evolved
when he and Evolve, but especially the NXT run where he's working with Johnny Gargano, the way he's kind of got it all. He has the look. He has kind of sick athleticism. He has very good in-ring work. He does the skits. His promo is probably the weakest out of those. But again, you just keep him to the skits in the back, and he's acting as well as people who have been doing it for 10, 15 years out there on those skits. Unfortunately, he's still trying to get out from underneath what Drew McIntyre was stuck under and Roman Reigns was stuck under he's one of Vince's guys. Vince likes him, therefore he must be terrible at everything kind of mentality that kind of he's still trying to wash that stink off.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And you talk about the way, which I'm a huge fan of, with that dynamic, that family dynamic with Gargano. I love the stuff Gargano's doing now, where he's depressed. My best friend's gone, and nobody likes me. Is this revving up for a babyface turn for John? Let's hear Rebel Heart. Let's do this. Let's do the underdog thing. Let's get this guy towards the IC Championship, US Championship, whatever it is. But I digress, man. I just think everything right now has been interesting, but the build to WrestleMania, I do want to touch on this, Matt, has been meh. As I say,
it kind of has. It's been, like we mentioned a couple of times already today, we were there in Philadelphia for that back and forth promo. Phenomenal. Outside of that,
you said it.
What's going on? What are the other things going in? Like, I used to care who's going to be, who's butting heads, and we're going to find out who's going to be the tag team champions after WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Are they trying to make me care? I mean, they got to make people care enough to pay a lot of money for those tickets, which some of them are still sitting at the will call window.
Yeah.
We're hearing that they're about 30% behind the totals that they were this time last year.
I'm a metrics guy. Is that it? Is that right?
In the same town, because they decided to stand up New Orleans.
Yeah,
and
I was thinking
go back to Las Vegas a second time.
Do you think it being in the same town might have hurt? I mean, they obviously picked it for money reasons, all this, but do you think that actually ended up hurting them?
I don't think it hurt it. I don't think that hurt them so much. I think everybody who was kind of paying attention at the time, most of us have forgotten, but we're like, oh, that's kind of a jerk move to pull on the city of New Orleans.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that bait and switch with them.
And they're getting like a money in the bank or something.
But Las Vegas, I mean, it is a destination town. Like, you can go there and, you have other things to do besides WrestleMania. And look, what we'll tell you, being in the, greater New York, New Jersey area, when WrestleMania has come to, Giant Stadium, you're busy enough. And
yes.
One of the things that keeps you busy is the peripheral shows.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, this is a chance for people to start getting a toehold on what is going to happen probably in the next 2 years, where I see the landscape of professional wrestling, at least in the United States, is going to drastically change.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick to piggyback off that, Matt, we always look at that. We just went to Raw. It's pricier than it's ever been. We had talked here on the radio about them outpricing families, and I know that was something in the old regime that was important. Having the family audiences, you could bring a family of 4, you get hot dogs, whatever it is. We've talked about that. Now, I messaged you guys like, NXT's, because NXT's a lot cheaper. NXT's in the theater at Madison Square Garden, whereas Raw at Madison Square Garden coming up, it's just an arm and a leg. It's crazy, the price.
Crazy, yeah.
So WrestleMania in Vegas this past weekend, and I double checked this. I'm not spitting false information here. I think Wrestling Inc. reported it as well. Some reputable sites have reported that there is a 25% off. Think of that, 25% off sale this weekend for, and this is not me promote. This is just what I read. They are putting a discount on these tickets because the ticket sales are so
lagging.
poor. I mean, that is significant. That turns my head and is just like,
it's a lot of money.
Wow.
And it's a lot of money for, so far we don't know, but they've, maybe I'm only getting 4 matches a night. It's WrestleMania. Maybe we'll get 5 or 6 per night. But I also, how am I going to go see night 2 without night 1 or night 1 without 2? So I'm buying 2 tickets.
Exactly. That's telling. But then also they had just released the information that, and I believe this is confirmed to be true, or I'm always very careful with wrestling quote unquote news. So please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I've seen that they're now doing a short blackout on the pay-per-view within a 50-mile radius or something of the event.
All the bars and restaurants,
all the parties,
in the area.
They can't show WrestleMania, even though it's the thing. This is to get people to buy tickets, I assume, to actually go instead of going to the
Yeah, you can still go see it at your friend's house, but Dave and Buster's is not going to be playing WrestleMania. Your local sports bar in and around Las Vegas will not be able to play WrestleMania. It's not a good look.
Yeah, I mean, we call it like it is. We call it like it is, Matt. And I think, look, we don't have all the information. We don't have all the card right now. But you and me talking right now, it's just like we're missing that WrestleMania feeling.
And this is one thing that maybe they're just a little bit behind on, but this was an argument people had with Disney recently.
Okay.
Especially the Disney parks. We're
Very
getting
expensive.
pricier and pricier, and to the point where they realized, hey, all the people who want to bring their families here because they have fond memories of coming here when they were a kid, they're not doing it because they got priced out, or the juice wasn't worth the squeeze once they got there, and they paid a lot of money for the accommodations and the tickets to go into the park, and then they're paying $12 for a popsicle, and
Mickey Pop.
they started to dial that back recently.
Interesting.
If WWE is not going to dial it back soon, I can only imagine the reason they're not doing that is to maximize the profits before a sale.
Yeah, the almighty dollar, man. And I understand the value of that. But at the end of the day, and we've talked about this, Matt, if people aren't bringing their families, when those kids grow up, they might not be fans. They might not bring their families, and that's, why you and I are our families or our friends watched it. We grew up, watching that stuff, man. So it's interesting. It's obviously a newer regime, and I think they've done a great job overall. But TKO is involved now. It's about the bottom line, which I understand, and any business is. But at the same time, I don't even want to say mistakes, but there'll be missteps. There'll be learning experiences, and as us as consumers, right? I feel we're entitled to our opinions on the matter. And at the end of the day, they'll find a way to sell it out and fill those seats, I'm sure. But you're putting 25% off right now. You're not showing it at local bars. To me, this is very telling. Very telling.
Yes, that's like I said, by next year's WrestleMania, which will be a really rough one to have peripheral shows at. Right now, TNA, MLW, and the like can easily get people, and all sorts of independent promotions and independent wrestlers can get themselves to Las Vegas, no problem.
Yep.
To be in these peripheral shows that always accompany WrestleMania weekend. Next year, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Oh, because it ain't.
Because next year, it's going to be in Riyadh.
That's right. It ain't going to be here.
And we're going to be watching it at. We're going to be watching everybody else with half the seats empty at 1 o'clock in the morning, and also that they can't eat in their seats, apparently.
Yes, I heard that.
We're going to be watching that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Here.
You know what? I didn't hate that. That's something I did not hate the 2 o'clock Rumble.
I would have even done it earlier.
We're old.
I've been happier with it doing it earlier, just because maybe the crowd will be into it if they're more awake.
Yeah. That's it, man. Yeah, we were kind of powering through Raw in Philly, man. We were all sleepyheads, man. But good stuff, man. Anything else you want to touch on, brother, or any special messages?
No, nothing this week. I'm kind of holding on to something for next week and the weeks coming
So next
as we
week,
get closer and closer to WrestleMania.
so I put in for Chamber in Chicago, so I may or may not have been there. I've not been approved nor denied yet, so we will certainly see. So hopefully maybe I'll have some WWE interviews for you guys. Like I want to bring that to the X. Of course, for the Downbeat Beatdown Hour, Matt, thank you so much for hanging out. Always great talking to you, man. We will see you guys next week. Hopefully we'll have some more tunage for you guys. I want to feature more of the local bands, guys. And like we always say here on the Downbeat Beatdown Hour, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace.